Today in this video I'm going to be running through how to edit images directly in Cricut Design Space, because sometimes, like with this image here on the left, you've got an idea in mind but you can't quite find what you want. So I have found this. I have actually started now in August getting my designs together for use for Christmas, for some of the products I'm going to sell at Christmas. And what I wanted was a picture of Santa on his sleigh for Christmas Eve, on a Christmas gift sack, flying over a cityscape. And what I found was an image that was almost perfect. And as you can see, I'm in Cricut Access, and I found this image, or these images. So one cityscape, two, and this on the left, which is more or less what I had in mind. But when you look at it, this is quite a complex design, for Cricut Design Space, my Cricut machine rather, to cut, because there's lots of bits in between those trees that are going to have to be weeded, and it's just going to take forever to cut, and it's not exactly what I had in mind, but it's pretty close. So I want to get rid of all of these tiny little dots that just become a bit of a pain when you're doing the weeding and tend to get missed anyway, and edit all that out and make use of one of these other designs to replace the trees. And this is where I really love shapes within Design Space. Shapes and contour and slice and weld are your best friends when it comes to creating your own designs. We'll just get started. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use the shapes tool to obliterate, it's a good word, the parts of this design that I don't want to keep. So I've chosen a circle, unlock it, and I'm going to try and mirror the curve at the top of the shape that's supposed to kind of be the world. And I'll just change the colour of this. Once I've got it to the width I want, I'll just lock it again, move it into position, and you can see this little world shape at the bottom curls up. So if I put that more or less in position, move it over, and then this little curve at the bottom isn't equally set, so I'll just angle it a little bit. So yeah, change the colour so I can see a little better and move it to the back, and I can get an idea of where that's sitting, and just zoom in and get this exactly where I want it, because I want to remove as many of these trees as I can in one slice. And remember, you can only slice by selecting two objects at a time. So I'll get this as close as I can. Just some final adjustments. Yep, I think that'll do. So I select that and the full image. Zoom out again. Hold the shift key, select them both, and slice. Okay, let's see what I've got. Remove that top layer. There are always three. Strange when it's just two objects you've selected. There. So I've now got rid of most of the trees and left me with my little world shape at the bottom, but I've got 3 trees and some stars and things that I'm now wanting to get rid of. So back to shapes, and I'll use the square this time, unlock it and alter the shape. And there, that's pretty good. I'll duplicate that because the one over the other side is pretty similar. Yep. And this middle one is going to be wider, and I'm probably going to have 2 attempts at this because I don't want to take off, if we zoom in, I don't want to take off the reindeer feet, and that's just there. So when I move it down, I'm left with a tiny little bit of tree left. That's okay, we can deal with that later. So zoom back out, and we'll just select one of them and the image and slice. Remember, you can only do one of these at a time. Move it back in, and I'm going to do this little tree over on the right. Select, and if they won't select, just go over to the panels layer and the layers layer and select them and slice. Okay, and last, using the square again, as I say, I'm happy to get rid of some of those little star shapes, select them, slice, and get rid of that. Okay, right, just reduce that down in size a little. And I'm now going to use contour because there isn't much to get rid of now, but I want to get rid of some of those tiny little dots. They're not serving any useful purpose as far as I'm concerned, so I'm going to go down and choose them, and you can see them actually change colour because these are so small. I always find it's easier to use the little panel on the right to select them, and just keep, I'm not sure what that one is. Usually you can tell from the shape of it. No, I'll leave it for now. And get rid of those tiny little dots and some of the things that just, when it comes to weeding, I'll just wish I'd have been rid of and hadn't wasted my cutting machine's time. 1, 2, 3, 4 of that shape. I'll go back to the image in a second and find out what that is. So these tiny bits, some of them are within the letters, and I tend, when it's going to be something relatively small as this is, in terms of the overall size of the image when I use it in iron-on, to fill in some of the tiny little spaces in the letters. You know, when you've got a Y that has a little tiny bit in the middle that I inevitably forget and then see it when I come to review my ironed-on product. And it's one of my worst faults is not weeding properly, so what I now use is contour because I've realised it is one of my best friends when it comes to not making mistakes. So let's have a look at that. Now there are tiny little pieces here. I think I know what those 4 angled little pieces were. I think they sit between the antlers. So let's just go back, have a look. It's looking a lot cleaner now. I'm much happier with this as it looks. But when we have a look in, and you can see some of these teeny tiny pieces in the letters, I may just get rid of a couple of those. And here, this is those kind of angled cutouts. And good as the Cricut is at cutting little shapes, I think I'll go back into contour and do some final tidying up. As I said, I have form when it comes to missing things when I'm weeding and only spotting it later, or getting frustrated because a tiny piece is in there and it's just ripping the whole thing when I'm trying to weed it. So this is as much because I know how bad I am at teeny tiny pieces of weeding. I think that was the top of one of those trees, so that's now gone. So I think we've tidied up the antlers. Possibly have a look at some of these pieces, you know, inside the letters. What's that one? No, I'll leave that. And you can usually tell with the shape of it which it's going to be. So I think I'd like to get rid of the bit on the C for Christmas, and the bottom of the Y on Merry. Sorry about that, that's my husband sending me a message when I asked him to please not send me a message. Okay. Right. Right, I think we're there. That's looking a lot tidier. Yep, happier with that. Now, the Cityscape. Which one am I going to use? So, I quite like the look of this one. I think it'll be easier, strangely easier to weed than the other one. And for this one, contour is probably going to do everything I want. So, all these oblongs and so on are most likely to be windows. The stars I don't need, I've got them already on my image. So we'll get rid of those. And some of the lines around the moon, yeah, those tiny little dots around stars, distant stars. Clean all those up. And quite a lot of them. Okay. A tiny one at the bottom, what would that be? Yeah, we'll try it. Ah, it's his mouth. Okay. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. And it's just a question of clicking them and see what switches on and switches off, whether you want to keep it, whether you don't. And lots of windows. Those are some of those shapes around the moon's head. Let's see what we've got. Okay. Right. Well, that. Just adjust this size a little bit, unlock it, and move it in and see what we think. Now, of course, the moon and sky on this are crashing into my image, and I didn't really want that anyway. So what we'll do is go back to contour, and we'll see how much of that we can remove. So his face can go, the big shape at the top, which is the sky, that can go, and let's just clear everything from the face of the moon. So that's an eye, mouth, maybe a shape that is his little nose somewhere. Maybe down the bottom. There it is. And can I find that other tiny piece? No, we'll just try and click it there. Sometimes that works. Yes, we've got it. Okay, where are we? Okay, great. That moon and sky have now gone. I've got my cityscape. I just want to unlock it and make it a little wider and position it. Yeah, I like that. So we'll get rid of this one because I'm quite happy with the one we've chosen. So that's gone, and I like that. So I think what I'll do now is I want it all to cut off as one image. Don't want to have to be piecing anything together. I don't think there's any more I can do with those reindeer antlers. Final check. We zoom in and just have a see what there is there. No, I think that's it. I don't think we're going to get anything better than that. This is just me, as I say, being so, what do you call it, not bad at weeding. I actually enjoy weeding. I just miss bits. And I must at this point apologise if you're getting some background noise here, but it's absolutely teeming down outside, and I've got a roof light here that's not helping with the sound. Hopefully I won't have to re-record this when I listen to it back. Okay, so I'm happy with all that. I'm going to weld it because I want that to be one image, and I think that's worked really, really well. So that's it. Create your own images in Cricut Design Space.